Have you ever dreamed of working overseas while serving your country? Federal contracting might be your ticket. I want to welcome everybody back to my channel, Beyond Borders Careers. So today what we're going to talk about is getting a U.S. federal contractor job overseas. If you want to work overseas as an American, federal contracting just might be your ticket. It's the vast majority of Americans working abroad are working for the federal government as a contractor, not a direct hire employee. So there's 5 key steps to make this happen. And this takes time. So you could spend a year or longer getting to the point of completing all 5 of these steps. Some people, depending on their circumstances, especially if they're coming out of the military or some other government service, may have a little bit quicker avenue, but if you're not, you can still make it happen. So, there are some tax advantages to working overseas as a contractor. There's a certain portion of your pay that's basically tax-free. I'm not a tax professional, but I advise you to seek professional advice on that issue if you're interested in it. Also, typically, you have the opportunity to travel when you have these types of jobs. Your contracting company will pay for tickets home or to another location to take vacations or R&Rs, ever how it's set up. There's typically completion bonuses involved if you stick it out for a year or 6 months or whatever the length of time of your contract is. And there's other advantages too. If you're working on a military base, sometimes there's free or subsidized housing involved. Sometimes there's free or subsidized meals if you can eat at a military dining facility, or what we call the DFAC. And there's also the potential to have other advantages. You get experience, and once you get your foot in the door with these contractors, you're in pretty much for as long as you want to, as long as you're doing a good job. Maybe not with that company, with another. The world of federal contracting is quite small. So the first step is just to understand, step number 1, just to understand what federal contracting is. Now the U.S. government has employees working abroad. They typically work at U.S. embassies or at U.S. military bases or other U.S. government-owned facilities abroad. But embassies and military bases are the 2 big ones. But all of these federal employees depend on contractors to help them, supplement them, and help them make their life easier. These contractors could be anything from janitorial support, secretarial, document control, engineering, construction, the list goes on and on. Logistics, IT, security. Security is a big one, particularly people who have had prior military or police or law enforcement experience. And just name a few, but there's multiple others. And who are these agencies that are hiring contractors? Well, you got the DoD, Department of Defense, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force. That's by far probably 70% of all contractors working abroad or working for DoD. Number 2 agency is the State Department. Now the U.S. embassies abroad are staffed by State Department employees. and Foreign Service officers. But supplementing those people are third-party contractors. And these people can work for various government agencies, not just State Department. But U.S. embassies have other agencies such as Homeland Security, NASA, Department of Energy, CIA, Homeland, just, I don't know. There's FBI, and all these groups all hire third-party contractors to supplement their work. So that's just the world of federal contracting in general. Now, how would you, as a person wanting to break into that field, how would you get qualified to be hired? Well, there's a variety of ways. We're talking step 2, getting qualified. So, do you have a college degree? If you don't, that doesn't mean you can't get qualified. But obviously, having some sort of degree helps, because many of these jobs do require a degree. Some of them do not. Do you have military experience? Did you learn some special skill in the military? Like for instance, I'm currently working here at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, and we actually have many guys that came out of the Army here working as contractors who are working to help augment the security monitoring here at the embassy. So obviously everybody working for that contractor came out of the Army. So if you hadn't have been in the Army, you wouldn't have qualified. And many of the contracts require certain types of certifications. If you're in IT, well, there's a variety of Microsoft and other IT certifications. If you have some of those certifications, it's going to really help you a lot. Now, but the number one thing that's going to get you qualified for these jobs, many jobs in federal contracting, is having a security clearance. I'm talking about a secret clearance, a top secret clearance, or the mother of all security clearances, the SCI clearance, which is the Special Compartmentalized Information Clearance. Now, you just can't get one of these clearances because you want to. Many of these contractors will start the process to get you cleared if the contract requires it. But these clearances don't happen overnight. They could take 6 months to a year or longer to process all the paperwork to get you cleared. So if you already have a clearance, you're a leg up on all those people. And many people coming out of the military, especially if you just got out, like say you just got out of the military 6 months to a year ago, odds are your clearance is already in the system and it just needs to be reactivated, re-sponsored by a contractor. And that can really speed up the process of mobilizing to work for one of these contractors. And the third step to get qualified is you're taking your resume or CV and tailoring it to make it more attractive to these federal contractors. You need to profile your certifications, your military experience, your education, when you find a federal contracting job that you're interested in, look at what the qualifications are, and if you feel like you meet those qualifications, make sure your resume really highlights those areas. Because you know how in today's world, these employers are using AI to search these resumes, and you don't want yours to get screened out. Now, step 3 to find a federal contracting job is, how do you find a job? I mean, how do you find the right job boards and what companies are hiring? Well, you can start off by looking at online. I mean, there's one of the big websites or is a job site called Clearance Jobs, clearancejobs.com, I think it is. But there'll be thousands of jobs, not just overseas, but also domestically. They have many contractor jobs that require security clearances, but many of these companies will start the process for you to get you cleared. If you're still in the military, a lot of times you're already working with some of these companies. So start making contacts with these companies to get a job afterwards. Also look at USA jobs. Sometimes they will recommend which companies are hiring. Look at Indeed. All the major job boards will have these types of jobs too. But also the major contracting companies such as KBR, DynCorp, another big one now is Amentum. And Vectrus is another one, but there's multitude of others. And there's a whole lot of small companies now that have smaller contracts overseas, and many of these are special contracts that are only awarded to Native American companies. Native American, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian companies. There's many of these little companies now. All you gotta do, there's dozens of them. So just do a web search and you'll find these companies, and they're all recruiting for people overseas now. And they're sometimes, especially if you're just starting out, that's the best way to go. And many of these pay quite well too. So just start applying and start, just like finding a job domestically, it's really no different. And once you get in the groove and start applying, you'll start getting recruiters emailing you, calling you, wanting to know your information. Maybe you don't get a job right away, but you'll start making contacts. So when some job that is needed that meets your experience, you might be one of the ones they call. So let's go down to step 4 now. Let's get down to applying. Apply strategically. Don't just do the shotgun approach and apply for 100 jobs a day to every federal contracting job you could find. But just look for ones that interest you in locations you're interested in going to. You might not want to go to Central Africa and work in some godforsaken place. And also, you might not want to go to Paris, France, or Frankfurt, Germany, where it's going to cost an arm and a leg to live there. So figure out what parts of the world you're interested in going to and start looking for locations there. Now, obviously, places where we have U.S. embassies, places where there are U.S. military bases, those are going to be your best bets. Start targeting those specific locations and places you're interested in and places you qualify for. Now, eventually, you're going to get down to the interview, which is typically going to start off with a phone interview and then maybe a video interview on Teams or WebEx or Zoom or whatever. There'll be one of those types of interviews, sometimes with multiple people. Now, if you've ever worked overseas in the military, or even if you've traveled or volunteered abroad, make sure you bring that up in the interview. Make sure that they know that you're comfortable living abroad, because that's one of the things that makes these employers hesitant, is when they think, oh, this guy's never been overseas before. He's probably going to quit as soon as he comes over there. So no, you want to convince them in the interview that you're ready to go, you're prepared, you have your passport ready. That's another thing. Make sure you have a passport that's new, that has plenty of empty pages, that's not going to expire for a few years. Just go, even if you already have a passport, go get a new one. Get a fresh one it shows that you're ready to go. And then once this job offer happens and you're ready to go, they're going to mobilize you fairly quickly. There's not a lot of preparation time. They may send you a plane ticket within days. So if you really want to do this, make sure you have all your affairs in a row that you're ready to go. I mean, your household is ready to, I mean, if you're single, then and make sure your lease is ready to be closed out, or if you have to sell your house or other property or put things in storage, start preparing, because this is, you can't be dilly-dallying around here at the end. Make sure you go to the doctor and get a physical. If you need any special medication, make sure you stock up with a few months' supply, because where you're going, there may not be a place to get this medicine. Make sure you go get your teeth checked out. Go to the dentist, get your teeth cleaned. Get all this stuff. If you find out you may be going to Saudi Arabia, okay, start doing some research on Saudi Arabia. What's the culture like there? If you're going to Thailand, find out what it's like to live in Thailand, what the food is like. Just start figuring out what you're going to be, what your situation is going to be, and preparing for it in advance. Because once they send you that plane ticket, you're probably got to get on the plane in the next few days. So you got to be ready. So that's it. Just be ready. It's an exciting life. And if you got any questions about this whole process, feel free to put a comment below. I guarantee you I will answer it. And there's more content coming on this subject, so just stay tuned. And if you got any value out of this at all, please feel free to like this video, because that goes a long way to recommending it toward other people, and it really helps out the channel. Please subscribe if you want to see future content, and I'll catch you on the next one. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.